AI promised to make your life easier, but what if it's quietly destroying your mind instead? You wake up and the first thing you touch isn't reality, it's your phone. You fall asleep and the last light you see isn't the stars, it's a screen. Between sunrise and midnight, your mind is never alone. It is fed, tracked, and drained by algorithms designed to keep you scrolling, staring, and silent. This isn't simple stress. It's not ordinary tiredness. It's a new kind of exhaustion, one that creeps into your focus, poisons your attention, and erases the person you thought you were. Machines don't rest, and now, neither does your brain. They call it AI burnout. I call it the epidemic no one dares to name. And the question is, will you keep ignoring the signs, or will you finally face the truth before it's too late? Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. How many hours of your week disappear into a glowing screen? How many nights have you closed your eyes, only to feel your brain still spinning, replaying endless feeds, images, and noise? And how many times have you told yourself, "I'm fine," while inside, something was quietly breaking? If this feels familiar, you are not alone. Millions of men are living through this silent collapse, but society won't call it what it is. They call it progress, efficiency, productivity. I call it AI burnout, the invisible epidemic of our time. AI is not just replacing jobs, it's replacing your ability to rest, your focus, your identity, your peace of mind. The cost hides in sleepless nights, in anxious scrolling, in moments where you sit with people you love, but your mind is absent. Here, on Psychological Shadow, we do not hide from the darkness, we uncover it. We speak the truths most men bury inside, because the world doesn't want to hear them. This channel is not about comfort, it is about confrontation, about reclaiming the parts of you that technology has stolen. So if these words strike something inside you, hit subscribe right now and step into a community that refuses to look away. And tell me in the comments, have you felt this AI burnout creeping into your life? Your story might be the spark that saves another man lost in the same silent war. AI burnout doesn't look like smoke, fire, or broken machines. It looks like you, sitting in front of a screen at 2 a.m., exhausted, eyes burning, but still scrolling. It looks like that empty silence after hours online, when you close your phone and realize your soul feels heavier than your body. You wake up tired, not because you worked all night, but because your brain never rested. Your thoughts were hijacked by glowing feeds, buzzing notifications, and invisible algorithms designed to keep you hooked. And here's the terrifying part. It doesn't feel like an attack. It feels normal, ordinary, the new way of living, but deep inside, something is being drained. Piece by piece, your focus dissolves, your energy fades, and your ability to be fully present slips away. How many times have you been in a room with people you love, and yet you weren't really there? How many meals turned into background noise because your mind was somewhere else, trapped in a digital loop you couldn't escape? And the scariest question of all, if technology is shaping every thought you have, then how much of you is truly left? This is not just tiredness, this is erosion of identity, the slow collapse of self under the weight of invisible machines. And most men will never admit it, because they don't even realize it's happening. AI burnout is not just exhaustion, it is a fundamental clash between an ancient brain and a modern machine. For thousands of years, your mind evolved to survive in tribes, to read faces, to notice the rustle of leaves in the forest. It was built for presence, for rhythm, for balance. But now, that same mind is drowning in an endless digital ocean with no shore in sight. Your brain is not designed for infinite scroll. It craves closure, beginnings and endings, cycles that make sense. But algorithms never end. They trap you in loops that feel urgent but mean nothing. And so your nervous system never shuts off. You live in constant alert mode, addicted to tiny dopamine spikes delivered by likes, pings, and swipes. This is not connection, it is manipulation. The machine feeds on your attention, turning your mind into a product, something to be measured, packaged, and sold. And here lies the deepest danger. When AI begins to think for you, when it decides what you see, what you desire, what you fear, who are you, really? Are you still yourself, or just a shadow of the algorithms that program your thoughts? This is why AI burnout is more than fatigue. It is identity theft of the soul, a quiet erasure of the human spirit in the name of efficiency and progress. Look around you. The signs are everywhere. Men walking through crowded streets with headphones in, eyes locked on screens, missing the world passing by. Fathers sitting with their children but checking emails during dinner. Friends meeting in bars, yet each one trapped in their own digital cage, scrolling side by side in silence. Technology promised connection, but gave us disconnection in disguise. We no longer talk face to face. We send emojis instead of emotions. We no longer rest. We collapse into bed with our brains still wired, unable to shut down. And slowly, this becomes the new normal. A normal where presence is rare, silence is unbearable, and solitude feels like punishment instead of peace. Men feel this weight more than they admit. The quiet pressure to perform, to always be available, to answer instantly, to never switch off. The phone becomes a leash, and the mind becomes restless, chained to invisible demands. Ask yourself, how often do you feel anxious when your phone is not in reach? How many moments of joy have slipped away because you were busy capturing them instead of living them? How many times have you felt completely surrounded by people and yet profoundly alone? This is the cruel paradox of AI burnout. Surrounded by connection, but starved of meaning. Flooded with information, but empty of clarity. Always on, but never truly alive. AI burnout is not just a personal struggle. It is becoming a silent social collapse. When millions of men live distracted, unfocused, and emotionally numb, entire generations begin to lose their fire. Ambition fades into endless scrolling. Creativity is suffocated by imitation. Real intimacy is replaced with digital simulations that never satisfy. And soon, we begin to confuse this half-life with reality itself. Here's the darkest truth. The more burned out you feel, the easier you are to control. A tired mind doesn't resist. A drained soul doesn't fight back. Algorithms don't just steal your attention. They weaken your will. They keep you docile, compliant, endlessly consuming, but never truly creating. History shows that every empire collapses when its men lose their strength. But what if, this time, the collapse doesn't come from war, famine, or plague, but from invisible exhaustion engineered by machines? A burnout so subtle that you don't even see it until your identity has been erased. Ask yourself, how much of your potential has already been stolen? How many dreams have you abandoned because the screen was easier than the struggle? How many moments of courage were lost to distraction? And what kind of future can we build if our minds are already enslaved? This is the hidden cost of AI burnout. Not just tired bodies, not just distracted minds, but an entire society quietly unraveling, one restless night, one empty scroll, one broken man at a time. The greatest danger of AI burnout is not the fatigue you feel tonight. It's the life you never live tomorrow. When your strength is stolen silently, you don't even realize what you've lost until it's gone. This isn't about technology versus humanity. It's about whether you will remain awake, aware, and alive, or let your essence dissolve into screens, codes, and endless noise. AI was meant to serve us, but somewhere along the way, we became the servants. Not chained by metal, but by glowing pixels that rewire the mind, steal presence, and silence the soul. And maybe the hardest truth of all is this: the machines are not the enemy. The real enemy is our surrender. Every time we scroll instead of speaking, watch instead of living, click instead of choosing, we hand over one more piece of ourselves. So I'll ask you, how much of your mind are you willing to lose before you finally fight back? If this video felt like a mirror of your own struggles, don't stay silent. Hit subscribe to Psychological Shadow and join a community that dares to face the hidden war inside the mind. And leave your voice in the comments. Have you already felt the weight of AI burnout? Your words might be exactly what another man in the dark needs to hear, because the algorithm may own attention. But here, we reclaim the soul.